Hi, this is Kim Pinky. Welcome back to part 2 of testing crayons on a t-shirt. Now I have this shirt right here that it's a white shirt. It's a heavy cotton shirt. It's a decent shirt where I would do designs and whatnot. I had started on a picture, but I never finished it. So it's already been inked, drawn on. It just needs to have some color, so I'm going to add some color. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put this in the hoop, and I'm going to go ahead and start to color. If you decide to ever use a hoop, it's an embroidery hoop. They come in a lot of different sizes. You want to slip it in with the lip side to the inside of the shirt that you're working on. So I bring that on in. You can bring it through the top if you want, but if you don't want to stretch it out or anything like that, definitely bring it through the bottom where it's wider. What I do is I kind of grip it like this, at the bottom like this, flip the hoop over it so it's completely under, and then lift it up. It's okay if it slides a bit. Go ahead and pull. You don't want to pull too much because you don't want to distort your picture. Excuse me for the clearing of my throat. I had a little coughing fit. No cold, just choking out air. Alright. Now you can tell that this t-shirt fabric is a lot thinner than the canvas fabric. So maybe we'll have a different result when we throw the crayons onto the shirt. Okay, so I also use this. It's a cardboard. I just grabbed it from somewhere. And I'm sticking it underneath. It's very thin and it doesn't have that cardboard texture. So you want to find something that's kind of like a mounting board, where it's smooth and it won't leave a texture when you color. Okay, so let's see if we can get some skin tones on here. I'm going to start with my lightest skin tone. I'm going to use brown and I'm going to use peach. Peach is what I'm going to use for my highlights, and the brown is what I'm going to use for the shadows. And then I'll blend them in between. Okay, let's see. So I'll use some peach here, and it goes on pretty nice. I'm not putting any additional pressure or anything like that on here. Let's see. And I'm just pretty much adding peach where I think the highlights would be. I'm also going to throw white on for my hot highlights, like where the light will hit it the hardest. So I'll do that right here. And what I didn't do in the first video on the dark fabrics is I think I'm going to heat it up first so that the crayons will glide a little bit better on here because it's warm. At least that's my guess. That might be what would happen. And this also gives us a chance to see if this sinks in, like on the dark fabric. Every time I applied heat, the color would fade into the dark fabric. So let's see if it does the same thing on the white. Okay, not so much. It's still there. It didn't sink in like it did on the darker fabric, so that's a good sign. And again, what I'm going to do at the end of this is I'm going to cover it with Mod Podge. That way the crayon won't wash out. And it'll pretty much seal it. Now my hottest highlights are going to be like right here on the edge of the nose, the cheekbone, right before the bend, like it starts to bend, like right on the bend, the jawline, right above the curve. I'm going to throw that, you know, where it curves underneath to the jaw, is going, I put it on the very edge. Right here is where I'm going to throw, anywhere where I think the light's going to hit it really hard is where I'm basically going to put these highlights. So I'm going to put it lightly here. I'm going to put it lightly here. Now the crayon gives me a little bit more resistance, so, and it's sliding a little bit more under the weight of the crayon, so I might have to tighten this just a little bit, and it will distort it just a smidge, but not by much. And it's okay if it distorts because the lines that I want on here are already here. Now this picture was going to be Beyonce with her, you know, when she was pregnant with her twins, and then I was going to have like little pit candle type bees and flowers all around her, but I didn't think it looked enough like her, so I didn't finish it. I drew a different picture, or moved on to something else. I can't remember. It's been a while. Okay, so I've got where I want my white highlights to be, and let me bring this up close so you can kind of see the white. And then I'm going to throw my mid-tone down, which is this peach. And this is the color that I'm going to get when it gets away, when it starts to come away, the light starts to move away from the hot spots into more color. And my brown will definitely be the shadow. On the darker skinned people that I color, I use peach as a highlight. Or I use white as the highlight, the principal highlight, among other colors. So no matter what, when I do colorings, I don't get away from peach very much. And the brown is going on pretty well. I gotta make sure I leave a little bit of spot. Like where the eyebrows are, there's like usually a little ridge. So there's usually, it's either white where the light hits it pretty hard, or peach. This time I just made it peach. I like to leave a little bit of an edge around, and it kind of gives it a round feel too sometimes. Just a little slight one. Okay, so if the light's hitting it this way, I'm going to be casting some shadows this way. Just a little bit. Now I am going to be putting in, I'm going to be putting a little bit more pressure on here, because what I want to do is I want to ultimately see if I can mix these colors. See if I can do some blending. And the colors seem to be blending pretty well while they're on here. The peach is merging with the brown. It's not bad. And I'm just going around with the peach a little bit more, just as lightly as I can, and then I'm going to be throwing more brown in and trying to blend that in as well. Now, usually around the edge of the lips is like a highlight, so I'm going to highlight that with white. Do that real quick. And I'm going to put the white around the edges here, just for that highlight here. Yeah, if you ever have a question on where you should put your highlights and whatnot, you can always use a source image. Don't feel ashamed or peer pressure to not use whatever it takes to get the job done. Especially if it's time sensitive. And if you're just learning on where to put your shadows and you want to be as realistic as possible, you can use source images. If you're copying exactly, you want to cite, where you're getting your source images from. That way you give credit to the person that created it. But if you change whatever it is that you're doing, like 75%, it's all yours, baby. It's all yours. Okay? So don't be ashamed to use source images. I know some people who are non-artists like to try to shame people because not only can they not draw, but they don't understand that sometimes you need to use real life in order to draw. So don't let anybody tell you that, it's bad to use source images. It's bad to rely solely on source images because it kind of limits your imagination and, it might mess it up a bit. You should give your all to your drawing, your own imagination and creativity. But if it takes source images to help you rather than just tracing from it, it gives you the idea of space and whatnot, it's not a bad thing. So that's just my 2 cents. And when I do portraits, I like to have a source image. I like to have, like if I'm doing a portrait of a person and I need to get their likeness, I gotta have their picture. So that's one source image. It doesn't always come from me. It might be a professional shot. It may be multiple shots. And I can't just cite the source of that shot. Especially if it's commissioned. It just isn't done. But if it's somebody famous or something like that, if I grabbed an image from somebody, or if it's someone else's original character, I'm definitely going to give them credit. Let them know where I found the idea or what inspired me to create the piece that I created. Yeah. And, even to spread it out a little bit, use multiple source images, if it helps you. Do what helps you. I'll give a little bit of purple to just to darken the parameter. Now, if you want to make darker skinned people, think of the color base that you're using. Is their skin a reddish tone? Is their skin a bluish tone? Or is it like a pale brown tone where it doesn't have, it's kind of like a neutral? That'll also help you in determining, like right here I'm going to make her skin cooler, and that'll make it a little bit darker as well because I'm using a base of blue or purple rather, and it'll just make it a little darker. If I was using red, it would warm it up. Red, orange, gold, or yellow. That would definitely warm up the skin. So these are the areas that are pretty much what I think would get the dark tones. It almost looks like Beyonce, but yeah. Give up the green, give up the green. Okay. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring those colors down a little bit as well. And let's go ahead and hit the areas that I think that are going to be lighter first with the peach, and then come back around where the light's hitting it the least, and I'll make that brown. So as the light's hitting it, I'll make this kind of peach color with white, and then I'll have to give it a shadow somewhere around here as it gets further away from the light. Okay, so this side will probably be a lot darker than that side. You know, just blend in the peach with the brown. And like I said, when you're in doubt, get a source image. Use that to help you figure out where your colors are supposed to go. That way, at least you're accurate. It may not be the same exact picture, but then you're just using it for like the source image. Let's see. I've got a hair care magazine, and I was looking at this model here and this model here for where the highlights are. Okay, so your inspiration for your highlights can come from anywhere. I don't like using this for the skin tones because a lot of these girls, they're all lightened to the same skin tone. It's annoying. I like variety, and sometimes I only find that in the advertisements in the skin magazine. The hair care magazine. Okay. So I'm going ahead and I'm just adding white to kind of blend it in a little bit, merge in the highlights a bit, and even lighten up some areas. White has this thing about not only lightening, but also blending. So it's not a bad thing to use if you want to lighten areas and blend them together at the same time. Now this is a lot better than the what were we using? The canvas bag. Let's see. I just saw. Here we go. Okay, I've got a clean stump. Excuse me for that. I've got a clean stump, and so I'm going to use that to melt the wax and try to blend it as well. When I use paper when I do it, I lay it on really super thick. And in the videos that inspired this experiment, they used shavings and they sprinkled them all over. It was just all over type of thing. And they used an iron to uniformly melt their wax. Now what I want to do is be more meticulous than they were. I want to be more precise. Theirs was just like throwing stuff down on a template, on a, sorry, words are hard on Saturday. To throw that on a, it'll come to me, sorry, just escaped me. But, you know, they cut out some paper and they sprinkled the stuff all over it, the stencil, sorry. See, words are hard on Saturday. Just expect grunting and pointing. Okay, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and hit it one more time with the heat, and I kind of like the effect. It's not bad. The heat is also going to sink it into the fabric. It melts it in. Once I throw the Mod Podge on there, it's sealed. So crayon is definitely a nice alternative on white fabric. Not so much on the black, but definitely on the white. So let me go ahead and see, when I apply the heat, it doesn't disappear. Not like on the black fabric. Not bad. Okay, so I'm going to go over it with some of the colors again, just because I want them to be more intense. I want them to be more vibrant. And I love that it is just really popping off. Look at that brown. It's just nice. A lot of wax on here. Okay, and we'll try to take some of this off. So if you want to see how the other videos did theirs, just go ahead and take a peek in the description, and I'll leave you guys links to what I found that inspired me for this. This is cool. Now, depending on, I like using it on the canvas, because Mod Podge, you know, you're not wearing it, it's not against your skin. Mod Podge is heavy. If you've ever had one of those shirts that have like the printing, and it's kind of got like this texture to it, it's not ink, it's more like it's been ironed on. Those shirts are heavy until they start to loosen or break up a little bit. And I don't know how this would feel when it's worn. I know that because the shirt is thin, it may feel kind of funky, you know, that it's a little heavy at first, until after a few washings it'll, you know, lighten up a bit. It'll start to work out the stiffness. Okay, so now I'm going to work in the colors together, and they're blending nicely. You know, sometimes when you're drawing a picture and you're trying to get the likeness of somebody, sometimes you won't see the likeness until after you apply the color. And I'm beginning to see the likeness that I was trying to get with Beyonce, even though I didn't use Beyonce as a source image, which would have been nice because I would have been able to apply the contours where her face is. It kind of looks like her, just a little bit. Okay, so I know that I'm going to want to put glitter on this. So I am thinking that I'm going to make her lips red, so I can use this one. And then, let's see, or this one. This is red. Let's see. Let me stop getting excited. Okay. I could use pink on her lips. Oh, look at that. That is gorgeous. Yeah, definitely would not throw this out. This idea out for with the crayons. This is really pretty. It doesn't have that crayon gunk either that you would usually have when you color. This is nice. I can dig this. I can dig this. I will throw a couple colors onto her eyes. But I like this. This is really coming out nice. Okay, there we go. More glitter. A little premature, but I like the glitter. Glitter glue. And I'm not afraid of it washing out because I'm going to be coating it with Mod Podge. of is awesome. Go. So yeah, if you decide to do the crayon thing, definitely use white instead of the black, the colored fabric, because it is just gorgeous. I am loving it. At least this is my recommendation. And your crayon is not disappearing. Now, some of the things that I've found with my fabric markers, they don't always give me this beautiful tone that melted crayon is giving me. I mean, I've found ways to do it, but you have so many more options with your crayons that it's sick. This is sick. I mean, I've got 24 crayons. I've got maybe 20 markers if I'm lucky, and they're not as versatile as this. This is just gorgeous. I am not complaining. The fabric one, the other one, yeah, definitely gonna complain. The dark fabric one, I did not like how much work I had to put into it to make sure that the colors popped out. I'm wondering if I want to use the same tones, the same colors that I used for the other one. We are going with this pink, and if I keep going, I will go ahead and make the fairy thing that I was going to do for the little girl, but the shirt this might be way too big for her. So, anyway, so if you feel froggy and you want to try this yourself, all I did was I got some regular crayons, just these washable crayons, my heat gun, and I am using my blending stub and just melting it with the heat gun, hitting it for a few seconds, and then blending it in. And that's what you get. Okay, so I took a second to cough my brains out, and I'm back, and I apologize if you'll catch me clearing my throat or anything like that. For some reason I got a tickle in my throat that makes me cough, but enough about my health. I'm thinking I want to lighten up her skin a bit by using yellow. So she'll have kind of like a yellow tone to it. But I'm also going to throw in some pink. So I'm just going to throw in a little bit of yellow, just some yellow highlights. Going into the peach just a bit. And then I'm going to melt that yellow and blend that in with the peach. And the yellow I used was dandelion. I'm going to use carnation pink to maybe throw a little bit into her cheekbone. Just playing on this whole pink motif here. And I'm going to throw some peach on here as well. Just kind of bring it all together. Now the yellow is going to be a little bit more subtle. You might not even notice it once I throw the peach on top of it. But it just gives it a little bit more of a yellowish tone. Now, one of the things I'd like to try on another shirt is superheroes. So after I do this one, I think I'm going to do a superhero and see how that turns out. Okay, I'm going to apply more heat, and then I'm going to blend it all in. I also hit some of the glitter glue as well, just to kind of speed that along a bit. Okay. And let's go ahead and blend before it cools too much. And this is gorgeous. You can layer as well. So this is turning out really nice. Now, if you don't have a heat gun, you can always use your hair dryer. So if you have a hair dryer at home, and a lot of us do, you can use that in order to move your crayons around. Now, some of this gunk that's getting left behind is from this right here. And it'll wash out, definitely. Just make sure to scratch it off before I apply the Mod Podge. So I don't have these weird things on here. But this is great. It's a great find. So if I'm ever low on skin tones, or I need to use a particular skin tone and I just don't have the fabric markers to do it, you know, the combination of fabric markers that I need to get to the tone I need, I am definitely going to use the crayon. This is interesting. This is really working out really nice. So for those of you who would like to wear your designs, or even if you have maybe an art with edge like this, and you'd like to wear the Joker or something like that, you could do that. And I'll do one just to show how I would do it. Okay, so oh wow, this is almost dry. Okay. I have not decided on what color I want to do her hair. Let's make it pink. I like the pink. Why not have pink? This is going to be Pink Saturday. And it is coming off awesome. And I can alternate, I've got so many lines, I can alternate between pink and maybe purple or blue or whatever. Just to be different. Give her pink eyebrows. There we go. It's really super feminine. And I could even melt some of the color on here if I need it to be thicker. But it seems to be doing just fine. It's not disappearing, not like the darker fabric. It's doing pretty good. Let's see. And in between, I'll go ahead and give it like a little bit of a highlight. Wherever I think it's going to bend, I leave that white, and then on either side of the bend, I color it purple. And then I can either go back over it with a pink, or I can go ahead and use like a different color purple, you know, just to give it variance and things like that. But yeah, this is turning out really nice. It's nice to have options. It really is. So you don't have to go out and buy the most expensive fabric glue, or rather fabric paint, or markers, things like that. 50 cent crayons seem to be working just fine. Now Crayola also has a version of fabric crayons, and I think they want you to color on a picture and then transfer it. But if I can find them, I'll see if I can use them and maybe do a demo to see if they're worth the buy, or just stick with regular crayons. And I'll bring it darker here. Throw some purple here. And I just wanted to pink up her cheekbones just a little bit more. And it looks like it's even sank in just enough. I don't even have to rub it in, but I'm going to blend it in anyway. Okay. And I think I want to go ahead and soften up this purple up here where her eyes are. Rub that in a little bit. Okay. And on those, I'm going to use a little bit of this blue here. See if my cap will let me this time. And no. I must have some sort of clog or something. That was cute. Okay. And I'll use this one to make it come out. It's a bit much, so I'll probably throw the rest into her hair. Little bodice here. Very pretty. It's really thick. Luckily, I have a couple other things I could throw on here as well. Let's see. Now that I've made a complete mess out of this, I'm going to use some of this blue on something else. I'm going to move this out the way. Okay. Now, see, this is me over glittering. But I also want to throw some glitter on this tail, so this will work out just ducky. There we go. I'll clean that top off there. Just toss it on there. Okay. Ooh, I think I've got a paintbrush somewhere nearby. Let's see. There it is. I'll just spread it a little bit better with this. Just spread it all over. This is another one that I'll need to cover with Mod Podge. I've got some areas here that need to be covered. But this is basically this part of her skin is fabric paint, and then this over here with the tail is, and some of the outline is fabric markers, tulip fabric markers. All right. Is it thick enough? Okay. So that's that right there. And some of this was glitter glue. Some of that was, some of this glitter here was from my glitter container right here that I got at Michael's. The fabric markers I got from Walmart. And I believe I mixed in brown with white and got like kind of like this light brown, and then I used like a peach tone on here, probably from one of my fabric markers, the Color Time. Color Time has a really good skin tone that, used by itself, it kind of gives a purplish tinge, no, not a purplish tinge, an off color, but it could be used as a skin tone. I'll mess with that one. And we'll brush this one. Alrighty. Okay, this blue is beautiful and it's iridescent and it's freaking gorgeous. Okay, I got my glitter sticks in. Of course, I probably want to put more on. Oh gosh. Oh, I do have some really pretty stars. And I'll just add those on here as well. Yeah, all these fell out of my container, so I'm trying to be very careful with it from here on out. Alright, good enough for government. Okay, so I'll just continue on doing what I'm doing, and I'll probably kick it into time lapse so the video is not so long. But if you are interested in trying, again, all I'm using is my crayons, my heat gun, my hot air gun, and like I said, you can use your hair dryer. Hold it on there for a few seconds. If you want to blend, like I did here, use a blending stub, like one of these, and just rub it once you got it warmed up. You don't need to apply a ton of heat, just enough to kind of melt the wax a bit, and that only takes a few seconds. Count to 10. 10 might even be too long, okay? So that's basically what I've been doing, and I hope I catch you in the next video, and hopefully in that next video we'll have what everybody turns out, how all the pictures have turned out. I'll see if I'll work on this a little bit on the bus, just adding little things here and there. The boy with the fire hair, he's finished. I gave him to the little boy I made him for, and he loved it. He threw it on his little naked shirt, his little naked chest right away, and then took it off just as fast, saying he didn't want to get it dirty. I'm like, but it's meant to be worn. I had done other pictures, and what I'd like to do is offer them to people who support me on Patreon. So if you want to support me on Patreon and you see something that you like, let me know. And for my subscribers, I will take their suggestions and create something. Make a video, and then let me know your address or a good place to mail it, and I'll mail the item to you as a thank you for being one of my Patreons. So I'll get that set up soon. And again, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It'll help me to do more with my channel. And I am ecstatic that I have 600 subscribers now. I am very excited, and I really appreciate all of you for your support, for watching, and I would love to see what you guys come up with. I know it's got to be a lot better than what I've come up with, or if it's inspired you, if anything here has inspired you to try. I'd love to see your work. Please send me a link, either leave it in the description or drop me a message. I read all my comments, and I am really looking forward to hearing from you. And I also have some other shirts that I would love to show you as what I've done as mistakes. So maybe I'll make a video of all the shirts that I've screwed up on my learning how to get these things going here. So, again, thank you so much for watching, and feel free to leave me a comment and let me know what you think. If you think I should do more things, or what would you like to see, what would help you guys out a little bit more, please let me know, and I will put that together in a video. Alright, so here's what this looks like so far. I'm going to maybe go back over it with some more crayons. Not sure. We'll figure it out. But yeah, this is fabulous. This is just drawing with crayon on fabric. T-shirt. Have a great one, you guys. Bye-bye.